Hello, this is Dr. J back with some more Let's Play Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. I believe this will be the penultimate, or second to last episode. So, what we are going to do is first we're going to go to the east. Because in this direction we will find a town that has a church. And we want to heal up a bit. It is much closer to go this way than it is to go back to the parts of the map we've already been to. It is possible to get back to the earlier parts of the map, but it is very time-consuming to do so. And we're on the clock. Okay, so here's the town. Are we maxed out on hearts? Not even close. So I'll go ahead and spend some time wandering around killing zombies while I wait for day to dawn. As usual, or well, you know, I wasn't doing this at first, but I have now made it my protocol to go ahead and do a jump cut, so I will rejoin you once day has broken. Okay, morning is dawning. So let's go in this house first. Whee! Jump down. Why do all these people live in sub basements underneath their houses? I do not understand. I'll go ahead and buy another couple of laurels because we don't have a whole lot of uses for our money anymore. Having bought the best items in the game. But obviously we want to keep some hearts to fuel our special items. The shepherd says the cross in Laruba's mansion must be found. Which is true. If you do not get the cross in Laruba's mansion, which is the next mansion, you cannot complete the game. I forget exactly what it is you can't do. Like, you can't enter the final dungeon or something like that if you don't have the cross. Let's go ahead and see what this fellow has to say. He says, "You have upset the people. Now get out of town." Oh, they don't like us here, I guess. Huh. Can I not read that sign? Well, fine. I didn't want to read it anyway. What's this old lady have to say? Get back! Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not popular around here. Maybe they blame me for the curse. The curse that ensued after the events of the first Castlevania. After Castlevania, I warned you not to return. Yeah, so Simon is not popular everywhere he goes, it seems. Pretty realistic, to be honest. Even when you have a legendary hero who helps the people, some of them are going to turn on him. For various reasons. Blame him for everything that goes wrong because he didn't go along with the status quo. Alright, so that wasted yet more time, but it was necessary for sure. Okay, so now get that red crystal equipped. We will once again need to replenish the earth. Get that rib out. Okay, so we're going back to the dungeon where we got the ultimate whip. And we're pretty much going to go the same way we did before, I believe. Again, we're going to pretty much ignore the upper levels of this giant cavern. As cool looking a tile set as it has. Because on the western side of this cave is going to be... Oh, okay. Maybe we do have to go up a little bit then. Oh, nope. No humming. No humming the themes. Even though Bloody Tears is so good. Okay, so we do have to go up a little bit. But not too far, I believe. Oh boy. These guys are going to make these jumps fun, aren't they? Evil laughing skulls. Okay, and this is going to take us to the next part of the overworld. Oh, wow, holy crap. Get wrecked. Why flame defeats flame, I'm not entirely sure. I guess my flame is good and his is evil. Alright, and here we find a clue book. Hiding in this block. Maybe the last clue book in the game? I don't remember for sure. This one says, Dracula's evil knife blurs Camilla's vision. I think the original Japanese actually said Death's knife. Messes up Camilla or whatever. Which is a reference to the fact that the gold knife that you get from defeating Death is arguably the best weapon to use against Carmilla, who is the boss of the next mansion. By the way, the next mansion, Laruba Mansion, I believe, is the last mansion in the game. That does not mean that it's the end of the game, because after conquering the last mansion, we have to go defeat Dracula. So we're basically 2/3 of the way done, roughly, and once we conquer the next mansion, we're going to be 5/6 of the way done. Sorry, I had to concentrate for a moment to not get completely wrecked. I still got a little wrecked, but... Alright. So we're going to need some laurels to get through the swamp here. And laurels really do not last very long, so... Yeah, there's a lot of swamp. Whole lot of swamp surrounding the last mansion. And here it is, Laruba Mansion. And just to drive home that this is completely surrounded by swamp on all sides. If we go over here, it is another 3 screens worth of swamp in this direction as well. Now if you go that way, it takes you back to the rest of the world map that the whole first 2/3 of the game or so were located in. So you can use that to retrace your steps if you have unfinished business of some kind back in the earlier parts of the game. We don't. We have gotten everything, so into Laruba Mansion we go. Now if I remember correctly, this is a relatively straightforward mansion. It doesn't have too many crazy tricks, false floors, and false walls and stuff like earlier mansions have had. Now, it doesn't mean it's short. I believe it's actually a fairly large mansion. Just doesn't have a lot of crazy tricks. And it still makes me mad when enemies camp the top of stairs. That's just stupid. Seriously, it's not a good design, guys. Don't do that. Why did you do that? Good thing we have the most powerful whip, because even with the most damaging whip in the game, it's taking us 2 hits to kill enemies. I like that the palettes used for the mansion tile set change as you get further in the game, just to kind of differentiate them from each other and show that, oh, this mansion has a different palette than earlier ones did, so you can tell that it's, more evil and more difficult or whatever. When you have these old games that had really limited cart space to work with and such, so that they couldn't make like completely unique tile sets for every dungeon, then just swapping up the palette like this was a pretty effective way to differentiate them from each other and give the player a sense of progress and a sense of ominousness without drastically increasing the amount of memory and, probably trying to use more memory than you could. This guy is unbelievably durable. Look at how many hits this takes. Okay, I'm sick and tired of this. Just die already. Yeah, so I wasn't even counting, but that was an unbelievable amount of holy water we dumped into that guy without him dying. And it just takes 2 shots from the Flame Whip. Alright, here's the merchant who will sell us the oak stake for this mansion. He was not particularly difficult to find. Whoa! Yeah. Wow. That guy's into parkour or something. Extreme sports. Okay, that... How can you throw that through the ceiling? That's cheating. Alright. Leap of faith. Blind jump. We made the right decision hugging the wall, I think. Oh, another crazy parkour skeleton. Let's see. We maybe want to land on... Okay. Oops, no, not spiders, no! Next to slimes, my most hated enemy in the game. Actually, maybe these are my most hated enemy in the game, the spiders. I think I suck against them even more than I do against the slimes. Okay, so the reason we're coming over here is because if we jump down to here, we find a guy who says, I beg of you to take these laurels. And he completely fills our bag with laurels. And since we have the silk bag, that means we get 8 of them. And with those stupid spiders, this is probably going to be pretty obnoxious, so I might use one of those laurels right away. Okay. Maybe I didn't need them. Get wrecked, Spear Knight. Okay, it is time to fight the second boss of the game, Carmilla. There she is! She's a giant mask! She's very creepy. Except, we're just going to charge through and we're going to get Dracula's whatever the heck this was. For the same reason that we did that with Death. The bosses respawn after you kill them, so rather than, you know, fighting her the first time through, I'll just get the item and then fight her on my way back. Makes more sense to me. That way, by never re-entering the boss lair, we can even pretend that bosses don't respawn. Oh, this is Dracula's ring. That's not even a body part. Alright, I think we now have all of Dracula's various gross items. So, as we discussed, the gold knife is the best item to fight Carmilla, so that's what we're going to equip. Alright, bring it, you creepy mask thing. So, she emits flame tears from her eye. But if you just wait in the corner, you can and duck, you can block them with your shield, and you'll be completely safe. Okay, finally. Alright, well. Get wrecked. I do like this boss design. I do find it quite creepy. The Phantos in Super Mario Bros. 2 were very similar, and they creeped me out a lot as a kid. I thought those things were nightmare fuel. Anytime you've got a creepy floating mask with an evil smirk, I think that does a good job of being scary. Alright, we now have the Magic Cross, which, unlike the item we got from Death, is not optional. We will need that to clear the game. Alright, that's Carmilla defeated. So she's actually a female vampire, which is much more apparent in some later games. That was just a weird incarnation of her, I guess we can say. Alright, 199 hearts, that should be good. Alright, time to backtrack and make our way out of Laruba Mansion. Ugh. Yeah, we gained a level. Nice. Health refill. What level are we now? Level 4? That should be more than adequate for clearing the game. I'm definitely not going to grind all the way to the maximum level of 6. It's totally unnecessary. Once you have the best equipment and you're level 4, that is definitely good enough. Oh, alright, fine. You go parkour over there, Skelly. You have fun, dude. So yeah, like I said, if you already know everything to do ahead of time and exactly where to go, it's a fairly short game. You can get through it in under 2 hours, really. But, again, that's true of pretty much any early Metroidvania. And it's actually, I don't know, I feel like the game is a reasonable size, actually. It doesn't feel too small to me, even though it can be cleared pretty quickly. Like, the world map is actually reasonably expansive. There's 5 dungeons. There's a really good variety of enemies. Yeah, I definitely don't feel that this game is too light on content at all. I mean, nowadays this would be considered a pretty small game, but back in the day, the amount of space on the cartridges was so limited that, you know, they just literally did not have enough physical storage capacity to make really big games. Alright, so that is the second to last mansion, or no, the last mansion. Completed. We have now cleared all the mansions. Only one thing left to do. That is to make the long journey to Dracula himself, unseal him, and defeat him once for all. Alright, so this is basically just going to entail a very long journey to the east. Good thing we have a full supply of laurels to get back through the swamp. Do-do-do. Haha, can't touch me! Oh, but you can when the laurels wear off. Oh, good lord. Okay. Good grief. Let's get our game face on, shall we? Alright, let's stop playing like idiots. Just because we're high level and have the best gear in the game doesn't mean that we can afford to take our enemies lightly. Kill these stupid skulls. Kind of fun watching them follow me up and down. Alright. Back through this dungeon. Get away from me, skulls. Ah, fine. Die. If you're so eager to be destroyed, I will oblige you. Man, why am I even bothering? The holy water is still good for destroying blocks, but it's basically useless for hurting enemies this late in the game. As we saw in Laruba Mansion. One last time, bloody tears for the win. Well, maybe not for the last time, but I think it'll probably be for the last time. Either last or second to last. Alright, continue our long trek to the east. Past, I think that was Boldly Mansion, right? And now on our way to Doiba, or whatever the heck this town over here is called. It's interesting how the landscape gets more desolate as we get closer to Dracula's castle. Kill the griffin, or whatever the heck it is. And then the Medusa heads. In a lot of Castlevania games, the Medusa heads are the most annoying enemy, but they're definitely not in this game. That honor definitely goes to the slimes or the spiders. Take your pick between those two. Yep, we know. As long as we're right here, we might as well heal up. Thank you. Probably the last time we're gonna heal up at a church. So many lasts. as we prepare to say goodbye to this early pioneer in the Metroidvania genre. I really like the flavor of Castlevania games. The Gothic horror, the very classic Gothic horror atmosphere. I just think it's very well done in most of the Castlevania games. I wish they would make more classic Castlevania games. They made a lot of good ones on the Nintendo handhelds for a while that were really, really high quality. I know that there was Bloodstained, which was like kind of an unofficial spiritual successor to Castlevania. But to be honest, that game just didn't really do it for me, for reasons I won't get into here, because this is not a Bloodstained LP. But I had really high hopes for that game, but it ended up disappointing me a fair bit, I'll just say that. Wow, those guys shoot ultra-fast fireballs. Okay, come on. Get wrecked. Oh, time for another Laurel? Looks like it. Oh, well, maybe that wasn't so necessary. Doesn't matter, we've got them to spare. Okay, so to the east, there's a couple of screens, but they just dead end. There's not even any clue books or items or anything over there. There's literally no reason to go there. And not even anything trivial and optional. Like I said, just a dead end. So, we want to go down those stairs instead. And these take us to the last town. The town that is pretty much right next to Dracula's castle, what remains of it. Huh. An abandoned house, eh? Yes, this town is almost entirely abandoned. It says turn right for Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so English. That's supposed to be Vlad Graveyard. Left for the Dora Woods, which is where we just came from. I think there's one person living in this town. Otherwise, it's completely abandoned. Yeah, this one old woman. She says, let's live here together, to this complete stranger. I don't know, maybe she knows Simon. Clearly a lot of people in this world do, which why wouldn't they? He's a legendary hero who killed Dracula. But given that she's living here alone, the last person staying in this dilapidated town, I'm more inclined to say she's just nuts. Loony. So yes, this is Vlad Graveyard. Obviously named for Dracula. Whoa. I hate those birds. Man, how... Okay, that worked. To avoid it, anyway. Do-do-do-do. Nope, nope, nope. It's so hard not to hum to these great themes. You have no idea, but I won't do it. Man, this is a big graveyard. Okay, so here, if you don't have all the necessary items, you cannot proceed. But because we do, we are able to destroy those blocks. Jump up on this bridge. This very long bridge, which is devoid of enemies. And cross over the bridge. Ooh, the music has changed. A new, unique track. These are the ruins of Dracula's castle. Now, what could have made this game even more awesome is if Dracula's castle was like a final dungeon bigger than all of the mansions, filled with the toughest enemies and crazy traps and stuff. That would have been really awesome. But instead, it's pretty much just empty, destroyed, which is thematically appropriate. When we defeated Dracula at the end of the previous game, because he's a load-bearing boss, his castle basically just collapses. But, you know, they still could have had the ruins be a big dungeon and said that it got infested with monsters, you know, because of Dracula's spirit reviving, etc., etc. But that is not the case. It's just an empty, dilapidated ruin. It's good for creating atmosphere, though, for sure. especially when combined with this unique music track. Do-do-do. It's a non-trivial amount of descending to get to the bottom. Almost makes me think they started making this as like an actual dungeon level and then just abandoned it because they ran out of space or time or something. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make a save state here because we're going to fight Dracula twice. The reason we're going to do that is we're going to cheese him to death the first time, and then we're actually going to like try to fight him for real the second time. Because it would be kind of lame to only show the cheesy way of defeating the final boss. This is a cutscene, I am not controlling it. We revive Dracula with his body parts. An enormous flame erupts from the brazier. And there's Dracula! Alright, so what we can do is, if we just repeatedly throw... Okay, I didn't quite do it right, did I? There we go, now we've got him stun-locked. Just repeatedly throw Sacred Flames, you stun-lock Dracula. He can never act, and as long as you don't run out of hearts, you are guaranteed to win. There we go, we win. Super cheesy. Stun-locking him with the Sacred Flame. Okay, which ending did we get? Oh, the text is so slow. It's so slow. I'm going to fast forward it. Okay, although the confrontation between Simon and Dracula has concluded, Simon couldn't survive his fatal wounds. Okay, so this is the medium ending, I think. Transylvania's only hope is a young man who will triumph over evil and rid the city of Dracula's deadly curse. Yeah, I didn't think that we had finished that fast enough to get the good ending. You just about have to speedrun the game to do that. Alright, and that's it. That's all you get for an ending. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload that save state. Okay, so this time I'm going to try to fight Dracula for real. And I'm only going to try to fight him once. So if I do terrible and I die, then okay, I die. I just want to show the fight proper if you don't cheese him to death. And then I'm going to splice in the other two endings. One of which will be the good ending. And I think the ending I got there was like the middle ending, so I think the other one I splice in will be the bad ending. Anyway, whatever two endings we didn't get. So I'm going to equip the golden knife because I believe that should be a good weapon for fighting Dracula the quote-unquote legitimate way. We revive him again. It's sort of an odd plot in this game that you have to revive Dracula and kill him again in order to break the curse, but you know, whatever. They got a cool game out of it, so I'll just go with it. Okay, I'm getting pretty wrecked. I think it's time to bust out with some laurels. Let's use some more laurels. Alright, we got him. Cool. Okay, so like I said, now I'm going to splice in the other two endings, and I guess then we're going to call it good. This has been Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. An early but kind of unacknowledged pioneer in the Metroidvania genre. I sort of already talked about the things I like and dislike about this game, but I guess just to summarize one more time, for NES standards, by NES standards, the graphics are great, the soundtrack is incredible, the gameplay was ahead of its time. I think it's a fun game. It really feels like a quest, more so than the Castlevania games that are just standard platforms and a series of discrete stages. Whereas this is a continuous, interconnected world. It feels more immersive as a result. Not that I'm saying the other kind of Castlevania games are bad, not by a long shot. So don't take me as saying that. But, you know, people have complained a lot about its downsides. There's elements of the gameplay that are pretty unfair. The puzzles are ridiculously cryptic. So it has its flaws for sure, but a fun game. I like it a lot. So anyway, time to see the other two endings, and then after that I'll join you in whatever I decide to LP next. Hopefully you'll join me for that, and I'll see you then. Bye!